Iris remembers how she initially encountered a young man in shop who unintentionally tipped over a box of oranges. She instantly felt a strong attraction and was enchanted by his grin. They shared their names, and from that day forward, they started living together. Afterward, they go to a cabin by the lake to see Josh's friends. Along the journey, he playfully nudges her for falling asleep for most of the ride, and she inquires about their location since the GPS isn't displaying anything. Shortly, the pair reaches an impressive home encircled by trees and blossoms. The vehicle signals their arrival, and the two express their gratitude. They stroll toward a house when Iris halts. The fact is, she thinks Josh's friends don't truly care for her. She fears she could say something silly that would make Josh look bad. He encourages her to relax and not create issues where there are none, suggesting she should smile more frequently. They are welcomed by Kat, who asks them to come in, where their common friends Eli and Patrick, along with Kat's partner, Sergey, the homeowner, are already gathered. The host admires Iris' beauty, which he's witnessing for the first time. She, in response, appreciates his house. Afterward, Kat leads him to their room and Iris heads upstairs. She takes out her things, not noticing a folding knife resting among her dresses. She showers, telling herself that she needs to appear cheerful. Later at the table, Patrick again shares the tale of how he and Eli initially met. He had arrived at carnival dressed as Dracula and unintentionally stepped on the tail of a dinosaur where Eli was concealed. Iris claims their experiences are genuinely thrilling. Ultimately, when Josh was still unfamiliar to her, she gazed at him and already realized she was ready to do anything to ensure his happiness. After dinner, Patrick inquires about Sergey's profession, and Sergey humorously replies that he frequently has to get his hands messy. At the same time, Kat informs Iris that Sergey is the ideal man, rich, intelligent, and wed to an attractive wife. Regarding Kat, she's merely a lovely ornament who has to follow his commands. She explains that she doesn't really dislike Iris. It's simply that seeing her makes Kat feel like she could be swapped out. Iris can't grasp her. At that time, Eli plays some music and invites everyone to dance. Iris sees Josh chatting with Kat and guides him away. Later that evening, she admits she's glad to be there with him. But he interrupts her, stating he wants to rest. In the morning, Iris asks him to join her at the lake, but Josh recommends she go by herself while he takes a shower and enjoys his coffee. Iris strolls to the lake. Enjoying the view, she puts her hand into her shorts pocket and discovers the knife inside. At that time, Sergey shouts to her. To his surprise, she unexpectedly responds in his native Russian. He proposes they lift a glass to love, causing Iris to feel uncomfortable. She's getting ready to return to the house, but Sergey requests her to apply sunscreen on his back and shoulders. As she does this, he unexpectedly holds her close, saying he's always desired to have her because she was meant for this. Iris pleads with him to allow her to leave. At the same time, the friends are unwinding in the living room, recalling their joint adventures. Out of nowhere, Iris enters drenched in blood, gripping a knife. When they ask for an explanation, she attempts to make it clear that Sergey tried to impose himself on her. She requested him to cease, but he didn't pay attention. She shoved him aside, making him tumble and strike his head. When he regained consciousness, he became enraged and held Iris down. Then she recalled the knife. She couldn't let Sergey take her away from Josh because she cares for him deeply. At that moment, Josh issues a command, sleep, and Iris powers down. Afterward, Patrick secures her to a chair while Eli administers some medicine to Kat and settles her into bed. Josh finds no other choice but to inform the police about everything. Eli concurs, although he doesn't grasp why Iris' aggression blocker malfunctioned. Josh requests a moment to bid farewell to Iris. He excites her, and she goes into a frenzy upon realizing she's bound. She pleads to be released, insisting she's speaking the truth regarding Sergey's assault. But Josh has no uncertainties because Iris just can't deceive. She's a helper robot he leased from the Empathics Robotics Company, created for offering personal services and emotional assistance to her owner. Iris believes he's telling a silly joke. However, Josh inquires about the weather at that moment, and she dutifully states the complete forecast, from temperature to outside humidity. He inquires about her understanding of foreign languages, opens an application on his phone, and with a few taps prompts her to speak in Spanish, then Chinese. There are numerous other languages she can comprehend and create just by flipping a switch. Iris attempts to assert that she possesses her own memories, but Josh claims they're all fabricated. Their gathering at the orange display was also a choice he picked from the options the company offered. In truth, company agents took her to his residence. They clarified that during her first activation, he needed to form a romantic connection to build emotional attachment. He can alter her voice, color, and personality traits, and Iris herself wouldn't realize she's a robot. Her main job is to look after him. In critical situations, he can restore all settings by pressing a button found behind her ear. Her feelings and intellect, spanning from university graduate level to a basic machine with no requirements, are managed through a phone app. She is unable to deceive and additionally cannot hurt living creatures. After seeing the engineers out, Josh sits opposite Iris, inputs the required commands, and at that moment she sees herself in the shop by the oranges display, falling for him with all her heart. Right now, Iris doesn't comprehend him because she experiences love, anger, guilt, and sadness. She understands what pain is, but Josh clarifies that it's merely a part of her coding to make her appear realistic. Even her tears are merely liquid that he channels into a unique container. In the end, Iris trusts him, but even if she isn't genuine, she's still his and wishes to go back home. Josh reminds her that she has taken a life and now everything will always be different. Kat then shows up, demanding they turn off Iris. Josh walks away to speak, and while they bicker, Iris sees the knife on the ground. Josh attempts to persuade Kat to allow Iris the opportunity to discover the truth, highlighting everything she has done for them and expressing his desire to say farewell. Kat objects, referring to Iris as a chunk of plastic. At the same time, Iris manages to seize the knife, overhearing how Josh intends to take her out, pop some champagne, and wait for the authorities because the robot has solved many issues for them. They have been organizing this for such a long time that now that it has come together, he can barely believe their fortune. Josh and Kat hug, but when he goes back to the room, the liberated Iris hits him, takes his phone, and dashes away. Eli and Patrick watch her disappear into the woods. Later, Josh confesses to his friends that he hacked Iris using an underground modification, increasing her aggression level and turning off her built-in inability to harm living beings. If she's located and the hack is uncovered, he'll be in big trouble. Eli is shocked by the thought that Sergei's death was intentional, but Josh clarifies that Sergei was a very terrible individual, involved in trafficking illegal drugs, weapons, and even humans. He then proposes to demonstrate to them why they ended his life. He guides Eli and Patrick into the house, where Kat unlocks a safe. Its code is Stalin's birthday and reveals to them $12 million that they intended to take. They ask the couple to act as witnesses to a murder carried out by Josh's partner. Eli desires the cash divided into 4 parts, but the assassins resist providing any portion to Eli's robot. Furious, Eli puts Patrick to bed and begins to argue. Josh admits that Eli might truly care for his toys since he hasn't replaced his old model, but he stresses that Patrick is still a robot. Moreover, Eli hasn't done anything to deserve this amount, although they're open to sharing. Ultimately, Josh is the one who created the plan and placed the knife in Iris' pocket initially. Ultimately, Eli decides to assist in locating the escaped robot, retrieves a gun from Sergei's safe, and brings Patrick back to life, inviting him to participate in the search. In the meantime, Iris is examining Josh's phone application, altering her eye color and voice before boosting her intelligence level to 100% from the earlier 40%. At the same time, the team of chasers divides to search for Iris, who is occupied with creating a strategy to rescue herself. She has to return to the house, tidy up, and decide on her next moves. She thinks about going to the main road to catch a ride, but quickly understands what a driver would think when seeing her blood-stained dress, so hitchhiking isn't an option. Walking isn't helpful either. When she travels hundreds of miles across tough land, Josh will be at home and will end her life immediately. Then Iris recalls that Josh's vehicle can be managed by his phone, so she makes her way back to the cabin. But she encounters Patrick and Eli, who are in the middle of a dispute. It appears Patrick is aware that he's a companion robot, yet he still cares for Eli. Their admission is interrupted by the noise of twigs breaking beneath Iris' feet. Noticing she's been seen, she starts running away. Eli fires at her, but fails to hit. But Josh and Kat hear the gunfire and hurry towards that way. Eli arrives at Iris first. They fight, and in the struggle, Iris ends up shooting him, taking his life. Josh shows up and attempts to stop her, but Iris gets away and successfully gets into the car while he tries to force his way inside. She swiftly faces an issue, however. The car responds to Josh's voice and won't take her anywhere. Iris recalls the phone app and attempts to imitate Josh's voice while he tries breaking the car window with a stone. Just when it looks like he's about to win, the car finally reacts, rolling over Josh's foot. He takes Sergey's phone and reports the car is stolen, making it stop, pull over, and secure Iris inside. Josh contacts Iris, requesting her return, assuring her that everything will return to how it was and they'll blame the murders on Patrick. Iris declines and disconnects the call. Josh returns to Patrick and reprograms him, turning off his capacity to cause harm, boosting his aggression, and instructing him to locate and bring Iris back. To connect Patrick to himself, he creates the robot as his friend. Now, in Patrick's recollections, it's Josh who's wearing the dinosaur costume at the carnival. At the same time, a nearby sheriff arrives at the vehicle just as Iris is climbing out of the broken window. She acts like a foreigner, baffling the officer until he spots a bloody knife in her vehicle. He pulls out his gun, but Patrick shows up on the road and shoots the officer. Next, using Josh's phone to turn off Iris, Patrick brings her back to the house. Kat, noticing the vehicle in the sheriff's body, is shocked and states she's departing. Collecting the cash, she confesses she was untruthful about Sergey being a Russian gangster. He's simply an agricultural tycoon, which is why he makes jokes about getting his hands dirty. Josh is furious about her trickery and tells Patrick to halt her. He plunges a knife into her back. Kat reaches the couch, falls next to the unconscious Iris, and passes away. Later, Patrick prepares dinner for Josh, who places Iris at the table, waking her up while she's tied to the chair so he can ponder the significance of life. He attempts to portray himself as a victim of an unfair society, but Iris ridicules him, highlighting that he has done nothing to improve his situation, merely grumbling all the time, unhappy with everything. No sum of money can conceal the truth that he's a resentful, miserable, narrow-minded individual. Furious, he lowers her intelligence to nothing, transforming her into a machine, compelling her to keep her hand over the candle flame. He then contacts empathics to have them pick up Iris, but after the call, he commands her to shoot herself in the head, which she does. When the empathics workers, Sid and Teddy, show up, Josh mentions his robot went haywire and almost harmed him. Patrick, pretending to be the sheriff, supports his tale. As the engineers collect the robot's components, they clarify that these models capture everything they encounter, with the information kept in their abdominal region. The gunshot to the head merely impaired her Wi-Fi antenna. They return to their car, and from their discussion, it's obvious they don't trust Josh whatsoever. Serious outcomes lie ahead for him, but as they begin their journey, Patrick steps in front of the vehicle and starts shooting. Sid is dead, but Teddy succeeds in fleeing. In the meantime, Iris, set to recovery mode, powers back on and chases after them. Patrick reaches Teddy and is to end him, but then Iris shows up and brings to mind Patrick's affection for Eli. All of a sudden, Patrick recalls his real companion and ends his life with a stun gun. At the same time, Josh is packing all the cash from the safe into a bag when he hears footsteps, believing Patrick has come back. But it's Iris who shows up, declaring that the thankful Teddy, for rescuing his life, granted her full control over herself, liberating her from the absorbers. She is now liberated. Josh attempts to strike her, but stops when he notices her gun. Iris states she's returned to inform him he's no longer her ruler. This infuriates him, and he charges at her, successfully taking the gun and compelling her to confess that he means everything to her. Then he's ready to shoot her in the stomach when she takes him out with an electric skewer. The following morning, she showers, removing the charred skin from her arm to one covered with a metal framework underneath. She then collects the cash and drives off. On her way, she sees a vehicle with a man and a friend who resembles Iris. The robot grins and gestures at her with its metallic hand. Although tales of humanoid robots going out of control have become somewhat predictable, this movie proved to be quite engaging and packed with unexpected twists. The sole point is, once more, the lesson comes down to wicked humans and virtuous robots.